Brandon Pitre is being touted by some as being arguably a primary contender for the 90 or 93 kilograms throne, especially after Jonathan Keiko, the 2 times IPF world champion, was surprisingly defeated by Sweden's Gustav Edlund at the Sheffield Championships last month. Initially, the battle was meant to be between Gavin Adin and Brandon. Gavin was entering the national trials as the current season's third-ranked athlete globally with a PR total of 887 kilograms, which he achieved in battle at the second staging of the Sheffield Championships in February. In contrast, Brandon finished with a 2023 end-of-season total of 575 kilograms, while competing within the 105 kilograms weight class, which was a precipitous fall of a whopping 300 kilograms and or 34.29% below his total of 875 kilograms at the USAPL Raw Nationals 3 months prior, where he competed as a 90 or 93 kilograms athlete. He further unexpectedly bombed out at his 2023 season opener at the USAPL Pro Series Finals, adding ambiguity to Brandon's performance prior to competing at the Powerlifting America Trials.
Now this is where I say, kind of changed a lot of things for me, right? I mean, most people who are watching this know exactly what happened at the Arnold, but one of the things that I really appreciate about the Arnold prep is it's the first time that I dealt with a lot of trials and tribulations, even through that prep. I mean, I had my neck seized up to where I couldn't do anything for a whole week. I couldn't even eat or drink anything for 3 days. Like, I couldn't sleep, couldn't lay on a pillow. It was bad. But even then, I still had like a lot of successes during that prep. I had a lot of PRs, right? A lot of good training momentum. I was posting. I mean, I'm not going to retell the story. There was a whole beef situation that I'll talk about how that weighed on me mentally. But I was killing it in training. And I was like, I am about to change this shit and change the scope of what we thought 90s and 93s are capable of. Yeah, spoiler alert, that didn't happen. So I ended up having one of the best preps ever. And I had the worst meet that I ever had. Period. Public display. In front of a crowd. In front of thousands online, right? Then that failure gets posted and that failure gets talked about, and that failure is like a topic of discussion in this very niche community for a long time, for months, right? Really, pretty much until I redeem myself. And at that point, as an athlete, especially a competitive one like myself, and like I know that you guys are, each day you're trying to prove to yourself that you're still him, that you're still that dude, like that you still had it. And every single time a session goes well, you're like, yes. Every single time a session doesn't go well, that can kill you. And mind you, I still have a job to do. I still have athletes to take care of. I still have to be mentally right for them. I still have to make sure I show up to those competitions. I got to make sure I show up and talk to those people. And this industry or this fitness space, it really shows their true colors whenever you're going through public adversity, because at that moment is when I found out, just like how people can be fake. I already knew people were fake, but like at that moment, it really hit me hard, like how fake people were, how fake people are, how people can mistreat you, how people can turn their back on you, and how people sell you out, right? Just depending on what favors them at the time and them picking sides and choosing a side for honestly no reason, right? So dealing with that on a daily basis, it weighs on you mentally. But guess what? No one cares. It's either I redeem myself at this next competition or I'm a failure.
There's further reason to objectively doubt Brandon's expected performance. For example, his historical reliability for the deadlift is 30.34%, bench at 18.96%, and squat at 30.60%. which equates to an overall average reliability of 26.63%. However, Brandon was able to maintain an average 2023 season reliability of 61.43%, which includes a squat reliability of 68.75%, bench at 52.52%, and deadlift at 63.03%. Despite these uncertainties, the recent Powerlifting America National Trials promised a fierce and brutish competition between Brandon and Gavin, with Brandon's 2023 season's best total of 887.5 kilograms versus Gavin's total of 887 kilograms. Unfortunately for us, the much expected slugging match did not transpire, as Gavin disappointingly reportedly weighed above the 93 kilograms weight class at a body weight of 95.4 kilograms and had to compete as a guest lifter within the 105 kilograms weight class against the likes of a heavy hitter such as Ashton Russel, including both 2018 and 2022 IPF World Classic silver medalist Michael Davis. This left last year's junior athlete Peyton Johansson and Alec Bob to go head-to-head against Brandon, who had largely experienced an inconsistent performance last season, was entering the national trials with a baseline total projection ranging between 879.99 kilograms to 890.4 kilograms, alongside a worst-case scenario total of 867.58 kilograms to 877.93 kilograms. In parallel, Peyton entered the national trials with a 2023 end-of-season total of 790 kilograms, which is representative of a 2.77% regression if compared with its 2023 season opening total of 812.5 kilograms. Nevertheless, the athlete's baseline total projection stood at 810.42 kilograms. Alex's baseline total projection stood at 821.13 kilograms. Even though it appears Brandon dwarfs both of his closest rivals' probability of qualifying for the World Championships. For example, Brandon had a projected lead advantage of 6.69% and or 58.86 kilograms. Advantageously, Peyton had an overall historical average reliability of 77.23%, including a 2023 season overall average reliability of 86.58%. Alec had an even higher historical average reliability of 84.26%, including an 88.89% reliability for the last season. In contrast, Brandon's average 2023 season reliability was 61.11%, and he has a history of outright disqualification from prior meets, unlike both Alec and Peyton. This low reliability may prove to be an Achilles heel in cutting Brandon's aspirations short of being possibly crowned world champion. To ceremoniously kick off the unfolding clash between Peyton and Brandon, Peyton opened with a squat of 285 kilograms.
Bar is loaded. If you are with Peyton Johnson, get behind him, clap your hands and make some noise for Peyton.
And although Gavin Eden is no longer competing in the 93s, so the battle between Gavin and Brandon Pitre is no longer going to be a head-to-head. Brandon still needs to beat Jonathan Keiko's 893 he posted up in Sheffield. Keep that in mind. Just like Delaney Wallace is watching this, I'm sure Jonathan Keiko is watching this.
Which is 2.5 kilograms below last season's opening of 287.5 kilograms, where Peyton achieved a lifetime 300 kilograms PR squat at the 2023 Powerlifting America Junior National Trials. Also, a 285 kilogram squat opening is 30 kilograms above his average opening of 255 kilograms. Brandon, whose baseline squat projection stood between 312.54 kilograms to 314.46 kilograms, in response to Peyton confidently responded with an opening of 290 kilograms.
And Brendan, if you've met him, as nice a guy as you're going to meet. Kind of getting that vibe as he gets the fist bumps with...
It's already having fun. It's just the opening squat.
Already having fun.
Right?
Now things will get a little more serious when the weight gets heavier, I'm sure. Some lifters, they like to keep it light and it helps them perform. Other lifters like to come out like they're about to step into the ring. He looks completely unbothered, waiting for that start, that squat come in. Wow,
That was a great squat.
Yeah. He's
Great
on
depth,
point.
great speed.
He is on point today.
Which is a mere 5 kilograms difference between both athletes, including being 12.88 kilograms above his historical average squat opening of 277.12 kilograms. The last time Brandon opened with a 290 kilogram squat was at the 2023 USAPL Carolina Primetime Pro Qualifier, where he unsuccessfully attempted a gutsy 317.5 kilograms. However, both athletes were put on the back foot when Alec Bob opened with a weightless squat of 300 kilograms.
We're in the 93 kilo class. Jesus Oliveris in the background talking to Joey Flex. Jesus, the strongest powerlifter who ever lived. In the back room assisting some of the lifters. Let me know I mispronounced Juan's name yesterday.
Wait, what?
Yeah. He said I called him Joanne. I don't remember that, but I'll take the notes, sir, and I'll take the egg off my face. Alec, 300 kilos even. Easy.
Very good opener. Very good opener.
Which is his heaviest opening in his sporting history. Peyton increased his second squat attempt by 10 kilograms, resulting in a squat of 295 kilograms.
So he's another one. It looks like he's just been competing for a couple years, but he's already gone to Junior World, so he has some good experience under his belt.
Yeah, that experience is going to pay dividends on a day like today. 295 is still a big squat for a 93. It was work.
Which is the same as his attempt selection at the 2023 Nationals. Keeping in mind of Brandon's baseline squat projection, which ranged between 312.54 kilograms to 314.46 kilograms, increased his second squat attempt by a margin of 20 kilograms, which subsequently is 5.68 kilograms above his historical average squat increment of 14.32 kilograms. In effect, resulting in a second attempt of 310 kilograms.
He's still giving fist bumps, still keeping it loose, but just, you can tell by the expression on his face, he's taking this a whole lot more serious, and he's going to need to. Strong.
More work than the first.
It was definitely more work. He's hit 317.5.
Yep.
Such is evident that Brandon was possibly pacing himself for a substantial total within the bounds of his baseline total projection. Alec had a lead advantage of 10 kilograms or 3.45% over Brandon after the first squat attempts. He appeared determined to bring the fight to the front runner, and his baseline squat projection stood at 330.56 kilograms, which is 16.1 kilograms above Brandon's top-end baseline squat projection of 314.46 kilograms. Alec successfully attempted a second squat of 320 kilograms.
This will match his previous personal best.
Moved very well. He's another one. It looks like he's pretty new to competing. Sometimes you don't know what that top end is going to be when you have these lifters that are newer to the sport.
Which further sustained his lead advantage by 10 kilograms, or 3.23% above Brandon, who was unable to reduce Alex's unrelenting lead advantage. Alec had an even wider sustained leading margin of 8.47%, or 25 kilograms above Peyton, with his second squat attempt of 295 kilograms. Instead of slugging directly with Alec, Brandon finished off the first round of the championships somewhat conservatively. He chose to increase his third and final squat attempt of the trials to only 315 kilograms, 2.5 kilograms below his present lifetime best of 317.5 kilograms.
If he misses this, all is not lost, but it becomes increasingly more difficult to best that 893 of Jonathan Kaiko. This isn't exactly a head-to-head battle with Jonathan Kaiko, but 893 is Jonathan's best. And to beat that total, that's saying a lot, because Jonathan Kaiko is the greatest 93 of all time, resume for resume. Can he do it?
Wow. Wow.
And 315 was the exact amount to load.
Perfect call for the day.
Yeah, you know what?
That's a good 5 kilos to pick up too.
Nonetheless, he hit his projected baseline top end of 314.46 kilograms. Overall, Brandon's squat of 315 kilograms after the first round of the trials handed Alec a minor lead advantage of 1.59%, or 5 kilograms. Even after Alec failed his astounding squat of 338 kilograms.
You had said relatively new to the sport. I gotta think he's been squatting a lot longer than that, though.
I would think so. I mean, this is uncharted territory. His PR from before was 320, which was his second attempt.
And it moved like a second attempt.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely.
Talk about a coming out party and a star emerging in the 93s. People came in talking about all the big names in the session. They're going to leave talking about Alec.
All right, this is a national record attempt for Alec Buab, 7:45. Here we go.
No, nice catch.
Not today.
But you know what?
I have a feeling that will be there soon.
If successful, this squat would have placed Alec at number 3 on the all-time 90 or 93 kilogram squat list, above Jamal Royster, who is arguably one of the best squat specialists of his current generation. Peyton also failed his final squat of 302.5 kilograms, which is 2.5 kilograms above his lifetime best squat of 300 kilograms.
Middle class, yeah.
Anybody came here with Peyton? Right now, you hit the left.
If he should hit it.
Get behind Peyton.
Big brace. Oh, nice catch by the spotters and loaders.
Not quite there today.
As a result, he was placed at third standing after the first round, behind both Alec and Brandon. Considering that Brandon tends to rely more on the deadlift discipline to build his totals, which averages at 40.15%, in comparison to the squat discipline, which on average historically accounts for 35.56% of his totals. Plus, keeping in mind that Brandon was entering the national trials with an average deadlift lead advantage over both Alec and Peyton, who stood at 66.25 kilograms or 23.36%. Specifically, if purely accounting for his last season's monster deadlift of 372.5 kilograms, this reasonably afforded Brandon the opportunity to seemingly pace himself within the first round. During the second round of the national trials, which includes the bench, Brandon started to greatly outflank both Peyton and Alec, wherein Brandon opened with a bench of 195 kilograms.
And he's going to need to hit PRs if he's going to catch up and surpass Jonathan Keiko's 893. Let's see where he ends up on the bench press. He's got to cover this ground somewhere. He's got room to grow. That left arm is slightly cocked.
Yeah. Yeah, he's a closer grip bencher.
Which provided an incredible 20% lead advantage over Peyton's opening bench of 162.5 kilograms.
Nice, easy work of that. Peyton's on the board.
And the lift is good.
And a 14.71% leading margin over Alex's opening bench of 170 kilograms.
374 for Alex.
Alec had quite the show in the squat session. Finished off a 320, but loaded up that national record. Relatively new to the sport of powerlifting, but already marking himself as somebody to watch for the future.
This fight's really a good blend of newcomers to the sport that you can tell they're making a lot of progress based off of their attempts, and veterans.
Yeah, we even have a master world champion.
Right, exactly.
From juniors entering the open to master world champions and everybody in between in this session.
Great speed on that opener.
It's worth noting that a 195 kilograms bench is the second highest opening for Brandon, who had previously opened with 195 kilograms at the 2021 USAPL Virginia Pro Meet, where he ended up with a personal record bench press of 215 kilograms. As the battle unfolds even further, both Peyton and Alec failed to catch up to Brandon. Peyton for a second bench attempt of 167.5 kilograms.
Smooth second attempt.
Good second. And his PR is 170, so I would expect that he's going to go over that for his third attempt.
I think so.
Which is lower than his projected baseline of 172.9 kilograms. Alec, who in the first round of the national trials unswervingly commanded a lead advantage of 1.56% over Brandon, was also fruitless in diminishing Brandon's lead.
And we stay in the 93 kilo class. These spotters and loaders doing a great job. We're moving pretty quick. They've done some big catches already. And they got the best seats in the house to enjoy the show. And I got news, they're going to be working very hard when you got squatters like Ray Williams coming up tomorrow. You don't want to miss it. Ray, capable of a 1,000-pound squat.
Wherein Brandon for a second attempt bench presses 207.5 kilograms.
If that doesn't happen, and it didn't happen in the squats, now he's just holding serve. He doesn't need to risk. The underdogs do. They're doing the great game planning right now. Brendan Pitre, 207.5.
His PR is 215.
So we're pacing, aren't we?
We sure are.
He really needs this. He's going to have to get around those PR numbers if he's going to make that team selection. Well, I think he's around about there. What do you think,
Yeah,
Meg?
absolutely. That moved very well for a second.
In turn, increasing upon his initial lead advantage of 20% by a further margin of 3.88% above Peyton, with a leading margin of 23.88%. Brandon also managed to maintain a firm stranglehold over Alec, where the athlete extended his original lead advantage of 14.71% by a further 3.86%, resulting in an entrenched leading margin of 18.57%. As Brandon broadly sets his eyes laser focused on a possible path to his first IPF Global Championships, the athlete finished the second round of the national trials by increasing his final bench attempt by a further 5 kilograms, which is 1.94 kilograms below his historical average third bench increment of 6.94 kilograms, resulting in a bench press of 212.5 kilograms.
$865. Nice. That was a nice third attempt.
Which is indeed 6.25 kilograms or 3.03% above his baseline bench projection of 206.25 kilograms. Peyton and Alec were unable to catch up with Brandon, with Peyton finishing the second round with a bench of 167.5 kilograms after failing to lift 170 kilograms in his third attempt.
This does match his PR. It's in a 2.5 kilo jump from his second.
That's a relatively small jump, but when you're in PR territory, especially on the bench press, things get heavy quickly. There's also the mental factor when you're right close to a PR, matching a PR, or trying to make one. Nope, not on the day.
Which consequently placed him on the back foot even further. Alec also failed to narrow the gap after benching his third attempt of 177.5 kilograms.
Bar is loaded for Alec.
This would also match for him a PR bench. He is one of the newcomers that we have to the sport in general. He's been competing since 2022. It's definitely there.
Marks it out.
3 for 3 in the bench press, 3 white lights. Alec enjoying his good work.
Finishing the bench trials with a sustaining average lead advantage of 20.63%. Nevertheless, Brandon needed to beat last season's world champion, Jonathan Keiko's 2024 world leading total of 893 kilograms to secure his path to the upcoming IPF World Classic Championships. The fundamental question is whether Brandon could supersede the benchmark total of 893 kilograms. As I highlighted earlier, Brandon's top-end baseline total projection stood at 890.4 kilograms, which fell 2.6 kilograms below the total of 893 kilograms. Even though Brandon was the favorite pick to stand victorious, his historical deadlift reliability of 30.60%, which was 13.97% below the group's average of 44.57%, which includes some of the all-time top 10 90 or 93 kilograms athletes, was surely a cause of concern, especially compared to Pitre, who had a historical deadlift reliability of 77.03% and Alec had almost a similar 76.39% respectively. Generally, a low quantitative reliability could theoretically undermine the athlete's chances if he successively misses attempts. Nevertheless, after the bench trials, Brandon had an overall margin of 59.07% of the 893 kilograms total benchmark. Whilst not far behind Brandon was Alec, with a margin of 55.61% and Pitre at 51.79%, which stressed the importance of Brandon sustaining a high deadlift reliability given the close proximity of the battle at such a juncture. For his first attempt, Brandon opened with a deadlift of 340 kilograms.
Lot left.
Yeah, there's a lot left.
Which is both the heaviest first attempt at a season opening meet for the athlete, including being 34.75 kilograms above his average deadlift opening of 305.25 kilograms. Also, it is the second time Brandon has opened with a deadlift of 340 kilograms. Interestingly, between the 2017 to 2018 seasons, Brandon's average deadlift opening stood at 286.88 kilograms. However, between 2019 to 2023, the athlete's opening rose to 320.36 kilograms, which represents 11.67% progression over a 5-year period. Pitre, whose baseline deadlift projection stood at 347.92 kilograms, opened with 330 kilograms.
Talk about pressure. Despite the fact he doesn't have a 93 chasing him, the pressure is still there. What an interesting setup. Jonathan Kaiko wasn't here, but he is here at the same time. His presence is felt.
He knows, Brandon knows exactly what he needs to do.
Yeah, it's rare you have that. At least he has the peace of mind of knowing what he needs to set the bar to. 330 is good for Pitre.
Alec, on the other hand, who had the lowest baseline projection of his two other primary opponents, who stood at 319.32 kilograms, opened with a deadlift of 280 kilograms.
Of course, in the 93s, we got Brennan Pitre hunting down to beat the 893 that Jonathan Kaiko posted up back at Sheffield. Guarantee you Jonathan Kaiko is watching right now. Nicely done by Alec.
Comparatively, placing himself on the back foot by a significant margin of 21.43% behind Brandon. Consequently, after all first attempts were undertaken, Brandon stood supreme above the rest of the field with a margin of 97.14% of the benchmark total of 893 kilograms. Pitre, for example, overall margin stood at 88.75% and Alec at 87.06%. In the last 5 national trials, the average lead advantage after all opening deadlifts between the first, second, and third standing athletes was 6.77%. However, Brandon had a quintessential average leading advantage of 9.24% over his closest rivals. Moreover, he was only 2.86% away from the qualifying benchmark total, if a total that is greater than 893 kilograms. Therefore, Brandon upped the ante by increasing his second deadlift by 27.5 kilograms, which is similar to his increased surplus at the 2022 USAPL Mega Nationals, where he attempted a second behemoth deadlift of 367.5 kilograms.
They stack the deck in their favor. Even if he misses, he'll have another go at it. He's a sumo puller, so if there's any kind of technical, a bobble or whatever, he has another go. And here it is. And he lock it out.
Wow.
And that should do it.
Wow.
Brendan Pitre takes an eye left to right in the room, and Brendan has arrived. Ladies and gentlemen, I'll see you in Lithuania, Brendan Pitre.
The increment of 27.5 kilograms is 10.75 kilograms above his average second deadlift increment of 16.75 kilograms. It is also the second time in the athlete's sporting history that he has increased his deadlift by a margin of 27.5 kilograms. A deadlift of 367.5 kilograms ultimately cemented Brandon's path to his first global competition, even after deciding not to attempt a third attempt. Brandon finished the Powerlifting America National Trials with an amazing matching PR total of 895 kilograms, which matched Sweden's Gustav Edlund's winning total of 895 kilograms, where he was astonishingly crowned Champion of Champions at the second staging of the Sheffield Championships earlier in February, with both athletes mirroring each other's season best totals of 895 kilograms. The upcoming IPF World Classic Championships is expected to be a true test of Brandon's will to become a prospective IPF World Champion. Brandon also finished the Powerlifting America National Trials with a KPI score of 84.67%. Nevertheless, one of the primary implications worth considering is whether Brandon can effectively sustain his reliability for the squat, bench and deadlift, whilst possibly progressing his total beyond 895 kilograms, as he may come up against Gustav Edlund, who has been thoroughly battle-tested amongst some of the all-time best 90 or 93 kilograms athletes. However, Brandon has subsequently proven his ability to sustain a relatively high degree of reliability, with an overall average reliability of 97.22% at the Powerlifting America National Trials. This is 36% above his 2023 average reliability of 61.11%.